Hello and welcome to week 3 of Introduction to Linguistics. As you saw on the title slide, we're going to continue the topic of morphology, which we began last week. Morphology being the study of words, word parts, word structure. As the smallest meaningful unit in language, morphemes are joined together to produce words. And then later on, when we study syntax, we'll see how words combine together into phrases and sentences to create additional meaning. But today we want to look at a few additional characteristics about morphology, particularly some of them that occur in other languages. So far, most examples have come from English. So we've looked at, for example, some complex words such as geographically, as you see here. And we looked at how we can peel away the individual morphemes that have been affixed to smaller units to create larger words. So geographically is built up of a smaller word, geographical, plus an ending known as a suffix, a kind of affix that comes after the base. Now, geographically clearly is a word, right? But geographical is also a word. Right? In this case, geographical is the base, and ly or li is the suffix, right? And that produces the complex word geographically. Right? Now, geographical itself is built from a smaller word, geographic, plus another suffix, ul. Ul is a suffix, and geographic is itself a word. And in this case, it's the base to which the affix ul is attached to create the larger word geographically. Okay. Now, geographic can be reduced to geographic plus ic. Ic is a suffix, right? And geographic could be a word, but in fact, there is no word geograph. Geograph plus ic produces the word geographic, but geograph itself is not a word. Nevertheless, it is the base in this complex word. So we see that a base does not need to be a word by itself. Although it often is, it's not a requirement. Now, we see geograph, the morpheme, appear in other words with other suffixes. For example, the word geography, right, with the suffix e, or geographer with the suffix right? These are words built with the base geograph, despite the fact that geograph is itself not a word. Now, geograph itself can be separated into smaller parts, geo and graph. And we see geo appear in other words like geology, geometry, geopolitical. And there's a meaning associated with the geo, something to do with the Earth, right? the planet Earth. We see graph appear as part of other words as well in photograph, paragraph, autograph. So clearly these units are meaningful and they are joined together to create geograph, which later then serves as the base for larger words. But these units, geo and graph, cannot be further divided. So these are the roots of these words. The root is the smallest morpheme, a morpheme that can't be further reduced other than to individual sounds, which are not meaningful. Okay, so that's what we've looked at so far, a kind of derivation of complex words. Right? And that's derivational morphology. And one characteristic of derivational morphology is that it creates new words that have their own meaning and often, maybe usually, change the grammatical category. Not quite always. There are some derivational morphemes that don't change grammatical category, but inflectional morphology, which we're going to come to today, never changes grammatical category because inflecting or marking words with some kind of grammatical function doesn't actually create a new word. It simply creates a new form of the same word that fits in a particular position within a sentence for grammatical reasons. Now, English doesn't have a lot of sophisticated inflection, so it's hard to show examples from English, although we will look at what English. But we will spend some time looking at a number of other languages. So we'll look at Ilocano, Japanese, German, Latin, Spanish, and Swahili.